Welcome to Mastery Fractional CFO's Punchy podcast, short, impactful podcasts where we speak with business leaders from all walks of life and ask them about their business. We also give them the opportunity to ask me, a fractional CFO, any question they want about the financial success of their business. I'm your host, Ryan Chenier, founder and CEO of Mastery Fractional CFO Services. Today I've got with me Christos Lekkas. Christos is one of the key shareholders and operators of C&L Electric. Welcome, Christos.
Thank you, Ryan. First off, thank you for having me on the Punchy podcast. Looking forward to our discussion today. Yeah, as you mentioned, my name is Christos Lekkas. I'm the GM and co-owner of C&L Electric. We're an electrical contracting business that has positioned itself to partner with larger scale facilities such as hotels, PCH buildings, manufacturing facilities, and restaurants. And we assist them in managing their electrical infrastructure to maintain and optimize their systems to minimize downtime and lost revenue.
Okay. So Christos, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this, and then tell us about your business, who you serve best, how you're maybe different from some of the competitors, why somebody should call your company when they need an electrician.
Yeah, absolutely. So my partners and I, we've been electricians for our entire careers, and C&L fell together by starting to do some side jobs, evenings and weekends, and a side job turned into a custom build turned into hiring staff, and fell together through the process of evolution and progression. Essentially, we found our niche over the past couple of years. We really found our niche in focusing on facility service and management, and we noticed that there's quite the void in terms of service companies and then overall facility management. There's a lot of businesses out there that just call, get dispatched to the service, repair, send the bill, and so forth. But we like to go a lot deeper than that for this relative same cost as the other companies. But we create a full facility infrastructure profile. We look at your overall infrastructure and see where your weaknesses lie, where it can be improved, analyze your most critical infrastructure, and essentially plan to mitigate as many issues as possible from arising, and a lot of preventative maintenance as well. And then, of course, we do get the call when everything goes upside down and they need us to fix everything yesterday. That aside, I would say who do we help would be more so, as mentioned, large scale facilities, any large building or buildings that contain critical infrastructure or critical electrical equipment that is pertinent to their day-to-day operations, as well as high demand facilities whose equipment just gets used so often and placed in such high demand that it requires regular service and repairs.
So you're doing a wide variety of different things there. Is there an area that, is there some kind of work that you specifically like or are looking for, or even that you're particularly good at servicing?
I'd say we really enjoy the calls and we really thrive on the calls where there's been another electrical company that's been there and attempted to solve the issue and they weren't successful. And then typically that's when we come in and we're thrown into some pretty challenging scenarios. I'm gonna say 99.9% of the time we come out on top. And then there's times where, I mean, there needs some more extensive repairs and planning, but we really enjoy those scenarios and we thrive in those environments.
So you are problem solvers, and you're able to come into those difficult situations and make things better, which, there's a lot of value in that. And Christos, my company and your company, we've been partnering for years. I'm familiar with you and your team, and I know that you pride yourself on high service and high performance. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think I'd say the biggest thing, as much as we have a unique approach to our service in terms of our profiles on the facilities and the level of detail with the reports, I think the biggest thing about us is the team that we have. Everyone a part of our team is wanting to be the best electrician they can be. They're all great people and everyone's very eager. So we're doing our best to foster an environment that empowers all the individuals a part of this company to push themselves to be the best they can be and progress. And as a result, it's allowed us and our team to continually raise the bar and provide the best quality customer service and electrical service we can possibly provide.
Okay, that makes sense. What do you like the most about what you do? I mean, more on a personal level, what do you enjoy about business?
I mean, it's tough now because I'm in the office more often than not, doing what I got to do. But I love when I'm on call or every now and then I am on call, and occasionally get tossed into a specific type of service call, something that I have more experience with than maybe my counterparts. So I really enjoy going into the field and troubleshooting and carry out any sort of diagnostics work, especially when you can walk away and say that you got her done. But yeah, all in all, it's every aspect of it I love. Obviously, there's a lot of challenges, and for someone were to ask me, would I do it all over again? I don't know if I have a definitive answer, but I'm here now, and I love every day of it. But it is quite the challenge. It's very rewarding in the same breath.
I know you and your partners began the business from scratch effectively, and you've grown it, and it's doing well. You've got a team. You're servicing a wide variety of clients in different spaces. What's one piece of advice you'd give to somebody who's in the process of starting a business? It can be a daunting thing, but you guys definitely reached that next level. What's a piece of advice you'd give somebody who wants to reach that same level as you?
I think there's definitely a few things. I'd say I think the two most important things off the top of my head is one, leadership structure. Without a good leadership structure, there's no accountability and everything falls apart very quickly. Amongst ourselves, we abide by a decentralized leadership structure. So essentially, we each individual part of the company has certain areas or aspects of the business that they're in charge of, so that it increases or that creates a high degree of accountability and allows us to make team members to make more informed decisions quickly. And then when we need to, we can collaborate and work together. Also, we can delegate a lot easier because this is not my task, but I've been delegated to me. Now I'm in charge of it for this time being. So having a good leadership structure, if you have a team, is imperative. And that aside, a lot of small business owners, including ourselves, we've been very reluctant to outsource. When it came to marketing, or even before we started working together, everything to us was just dollar signs. Oh, look at the cost, and we don't know what the ROI is, or what the value proposition is. And seeing that we've been working together for a few years now, we're working with a marketing agency. These are all things that's not our expertise. Our expertise is electrical and running the electrical side of the business. When it comes to the finance and everything, we didn't go to school for that. So focus on what you're good at, and don't be afraid to outsource certain aspects of your business, but in the same breath, ensure who you outsource to it understands your goals, your vision, your business, and can provide support to your business that's in line with those goals.
Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom in that. That's a good point. Okay, Christos, we've reached the point of the show where I give our guests the opportunity to ask me, a fractional CFO, any question, typically about business. But go ahead. Let
Yeah,
me let me.
absolutely. So, and we've talked about this a few times for my own business, but I think it applies to most businesses. With proper planning and structure in place, in your experience working with multiple businesses, how long have you noticed it takes for a business to go from profitable but inconsistent cash flow to profitable and consistent cash flow?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I'll say that there's no average there that really makes a lot of sense because there's so much variance. So many
Yeah.
different companies are different on this front. When it comes to being consistent with cash flow as well as profit, really there's a lot of factors that play into it, and cash flow itself is tricky. Profit and loss is tricky in its own right, but cash flow is different from profit and loss. And I think that's the first thing that people need to understand is it's different, and why is it different? What are the different things about cash flow? What impacts cash flow or has an impact on cash flow that one might not initially expect? Now, if somebody is putting in the effort, if a business owner is putting in the effort to really understand that, then it's going to help them get on top of it and manage it better. With proper management, cash flow can become something that is effectively looked after in a suitable way. But it takes work and it takes effort, it takes management. It doesn't happen on its own. As businesses grow, there tends to be more and more of a cash flow management requirement, because cash flow it's a little bit like a bullwhip effect. A little
Yeah.
change over here will cause a massive ripple effect or wave down the line. A lot of it just comes down to timing. You are effectively invoicing for your products and services or what have you today, but you're not necessarily collecting the cash today. And so when you invoice, you have to, in your records, you have to call that income when you invoice, and that's affecting your profit and loss or your income statement. When you are collecting the cash, that can be very, very different. Some companies are very good at being on top of their cash management, and that involves things like making sure that you're following up with clients regarding receivables, money that they owe you, making sure that your invoicing is going out when it should go out and that it's correct when it goes out, making sure that there's a clear understanding up front with your clients regarding the relationship you've got and what your terms are with respect to when the cash is owed back to you. There are so many different factors that can impact effective cash flow management. And so I see very, very wide variances amongst businesses with respect to when they actually collect their cash and how on top of it they are. There's a lot of value in going to your bank or your credit union and working out line of credit with them, an overdraft with them, credit card arrangements with them, because there are times when you can be very profitable and yet you don't have any cash in the bank. Now, a real simple example, just for somebody who might want one. If you invoice out today, if somebody says, yes, Christos, we want C&L Electric to do this $130,000 project, send us the first progress invoice and go get all the materials and all the supplies and get all the labor organized and come out and we'll see you like on Monday. Well, you've got to go buy that material. That costs money today, right? But you haven't received any money, even though you may have sent the invoice. You've got to go buy that material. You've got to make sure the employees are going to be working on that project. So the money that you need to spend to make that project happen is gone before the client has actually paid you, which could be 30 days later in a scenario like this. So that's a big deal. And then if you need to invest in your business, if you need to go out and buy machinery or equipment, that takes cash, and there isn't necessarily any invoice that's going to cover that. That's an investment in future growth. That's an investment in capacity to serve larger clients. You may not have the larger clients today. If you invest in advertising, I think you mentioned you've got a fractional advertising person now. That advertising could create a massive return on investment for your business, possibly, potentially. There are things that need to be managed with respect to that too. But if it does, understand that you're going to be paying for that marketing person today for the result that may come months down the line. And so managing the fact that the cash won't be there, even though the expense is there today, it won't be there for a while. That is something that needs to be understood. And most everything in finance, when it impacts a small business, small to mid-sized business, the reason it's tricky isn't because it's so hard. Like Chris says, I know you well. You're smart. Your team is smart. You can work this stuff out. I think where we're able to help you the most is that you can leverage our time and our expertise and our software so that we can look after things in a much, much shorter period of time and get you the key information you need without you having to do all the number crunching on your own. You've got other things that you want to spend your time on, business and potentially personal as well. And it's best for you to focus on what you do best. And then with respect to cash flow management, a fractional CFO can help manage that and relatively easy to navigate the potential pitfalls, mitigate the risks, and take advantage of the opportunities too, because I'm not talking about it, but sometimes there's surplus cash. And so rather than just sit on it, that's a great time to consider what might we do with this extra cash now that'll make our lives better in the future, either more profitable or more enjoyable or what have you. There's a variety of different things that can be done with respect to that. So that was a loaded question. You got me rambling a little bit there, but I appreciate the question. I think a lot of people do because management, cash flow forecasting and cash flow management are one of the main reasons why businesses come to us in the first place. That's one of the main issues that they've got that they've recognized needs to be addressed. And so I can empathize. We can help with respect to that. So good question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I imagine I have a better understanding just based on what you've taught me and my team. But I think talking to other business owners, I think there's a major disconnect between looking at your sales and your cash flow and I'm profitable, but I have no money. And that it takes a lot to wrap your head around that and a lot of time to look at things and break it down. And you've assisted us greatly in allowing us to develop an understanding and how the money moves within the business, which has been a huge, huge tool.
Great. Excellent. Okay. Well, let me ask you one more thing. Is there a great way for somebody to get a hold of C&L Electric? If somebody wanted to get a hold of you or if they wanted to contact your company regarding a quote or an estimate or just a discussion regarding how you might be able to help them, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to our website, www.cotelekkaselectric.com, our phone number's on there. We're 24/7 for emergency service. And then you can, there's a contact us tab, which will, that's how you can get in touch with us via email and someone will respond to you as soon as possible.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you for being on our show, Christos.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we sign off for today?
No, I enjoyed it. It was fun being on a podcast. I always wanted to be on one. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.